And now it's time to check our mobiles and turn them off or put them in silent mode. Might want to fill in the space a little bit here. No, this way. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Nati Dirghena Kalena Sa Karshni Ruddha Yovanaha Janayam Asa Nadinam Vikshantinam Cha Vibramam Nati Dirghena Kalena Sakarshni Ruddha Yovanaha Janayama Sanadinam Dikshantinam Chavibramam Nati Dirghena Kalena Sakarshni Ruddha Yovanaha Janayama Sanadinam Dikshantinam Chavibramam Nati Dirghena Kalena Sakarshni Ruddha Yovanaha Sakarshni Ruddha Yovanaha Janayama Sanadinam Ladies. Not. Ati Dirghena, very long. Kalena, after a time. Saha, he. Karshni, the son of Krishna. Ruddha, attaining. Yovanaha, full youth. Janayamasa, generated. Narinam, for the women. Vikshantinam, who looked upon him. Cha, and Vibramam, enchantment. After a short time, this son of Krishna, Pradyumna, attained his full youth. He enchanted all women who gazed upon him. Om Jnana Timirantasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mayham Tathati Shapadantikam Vandehang Shri Guru Shri Jatapada Kamalang Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Shagrajatam Sahagana Raganatan Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Shahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kamshana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindho Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Natidirghena kalena sakarshni ruddhayovanaha janayamasa nadinam vikshantinam trivibramam. We're continuing to hear about Pradyumna, the son of Lord Krishna, who had been not kidnapped. The attempt was made to kill him by throwing him into the sea. And he was swallowed by a fish. The fish wound up in the kitchen of the demon Shambhara. When the cooks cut open the fish, they discovered the baby, and he was handed over to Rati, or Mayavati, who had been his wife in a previous lifetime. Then, Natidirghena Kalena, very quickly he grew up and became a young man, and Janayamasa Narinam Vikshantinam cha Vibramam. He was very attractive to women. When a man is young and has a strong physique and beautiful face, beautiful features, then naturally he becomes attractive to women. Just as when a woman is very beautiful, she becomes attractive to men. Karshnihi, he was the son of Lord Krishna, so naturally he was attractive. Krishna is all attractive, and Pradyumna was both the plenary expansion of the Lord and in the Lord's pastimes, the Lord's son. So as Krishna was attractive, so Pradyumna was attractive. He was Cupid himself, that is to say, the demigod Cupid had merged into the personality of Pradyumna. And apart from that, Kandarpakoti Kamaniya Visheshashobham. Lord Krishna is so attractive that thousands of Cupids become attracted to him, or he's more attractive than thousands of Cupid. Or if you multiply the beauty of Cupid 1,000 times, you come to the beauty of Krishna. So naturally Krishna is so attractive. Even an ordinary good-looking man is attractive to women. Then what to speak of Pradyumna, and what to speak of Krishna in his original form. How attractive Krishna is, no one can even calculate. Therefore he's called Madan Mohan. Seeing the beauty of Lord Krishna, Cupid throws down his bow in frustration. Krishna is so beautiful that even a person who's attracted by the influence of Cupid forgets about that, being attracted to the beauty of Krishna. Therefore, Srila Rupa Goswami has composed a verse. One gopi is speaking to another gopi. My dear friend, don't go down to the Keshi Ghat. What's wrong with Keshi Ghat? Why shouldn't I go? No, if you go there, there's that boy known as Govinda, and you'll see him, so I'll see him. But no, his beauty is so wonderful. He's standing in the moonlight with his flute to his lips, and if you see him, you'll forget all about society, family, friendship, love. So don't go there. In this way he's advising. So Karshni, Krishna is so gorgeous, and naturally Pradyumna was also so attractive. Satam patim padma dalayatekshanam pralamba bahum naraloka sundaram savrida hasotabita bruvekshati prityopatis taste ratiranga soratai. My dear king, with a bashful smile and raised eyebrows, Mayavati exhibited various gestures of conjugal attraction as she lovingly approached her husband, whose eyes were broad like the petals of a lotus, whose arms were very long, and who was the most beautiful among men. Naraloka Sundaram. Purport: Mayavati exhibited her conjugal attraction for Pradyumna even before revealing their true identities. Naturally, this caused some confusion at first, as described in the following verse. Tamaha Bhagavan Karshnir mataste matiranyata matra bhavam atikramya vartase kamaniyata. Lord Pradyumna told her, "Oh mother, your attitude has changed. You are overstepping the proper feelings of a mother and behaving like a lover. Kamini. So this is, as described, it was confusing. Okay, second cell phone check, please. Anyone who hasn't checked their cell phone, please do so. The remaining cell phones that ring will be considered a donation for BBT Africa. So the Mayavati at first had taken care of the little baby like a mother. So it was expected that her attitude would continue like that. But then the child grew up very quickly, and then her attitude changed. And she was approaching him in a very non-maternal fashion. So, Pradumna said, Mata, what is this? Atikramya, you've gone beyond the bounds of how a mother should act. What's going on here? Tamaha Ratiruvacha Bhavan Narayana Sutta Shambarena Hrito Grahat Aham te Dikrita Patni Rati Kamo Bhavan Prabho. Rati said, you are the son of Lord Narayan and were kidnapped from your parents' home by Shambhara. I, Rati, am your legitimate wife, O Master, because you are Cupid. So she disclosed the actual situation, that there's nothing wrong here. I was pro tem taking care of you like a mother, but actually I'm your wife. Actually I'm your wife. So everything is legitimate. Everything is legitimate. As we discussed yesterday, Kama also has its legitimate place. Kama means sex desire. And Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi, Bharatarshava. My dear Bharatarshava, Arjun, I'm also Kama. There are so many things that represent me. The sun represents me, the moon represents me, goodness represents me, the Brihaspati sage represents me, Narada represents me among the demigods. There are so many representations of me throughout the material world. So Kama also represents me. Kama's not thrown out. But not unlimited Kama. Not any kind of Kama. Dharma aviruddha bhuteshu kamosmi. Dharma aviruddh virud means against the rules and regulations. And aviruddh, not against the rules and regulations, legitimate. Bhuteshu, in all living beings. Sex life is found among so many species. And among the lower species of life, it's always legitimate. The animals follow the regulative principles. That is to say, either because there are no regulative principles for them, like the monkeys, they just thoroughly unregulated, or because the animals have their seasons and they follow. Well, you never see the cows consorting with the horses and so on. There's some regulative principles which are put in place by material nature, and the animals don't even have to think about them. They don't consult the scripture and say, can I do this? Nature tells them. They have no choice. The animals all follow their dharma. The pig acts like a pig, the horse acts like a horse, the cow acts like a cow, the monkey acts like a monkey. Because they're strictly under the dictation of the laws of the material nature. They must act this way. And therefore it's not illegitimate. In the Vrindavan and so many places, there are monkeys having sex like anything, anywhere and everywhere. But the police never come and arrest the monkeys. This is indecent behavior. In public, you're doing these things. No, you're monkeys. You can do anything. The Prabhupada mentions that the traffic lights are there, but the animals are not expected to follow the traffic lights. Because they're animals. So they have their own laws, and they strictly follow because they have no alternative. So they're dharma avirud. Their sexual behavior is not against the regulative principles because they're animals. Then we come to the human life. There's choice. Human life means greater freedom. And greater freedom. The human beings can act like the animals. Or the human beings can act for their elevation. So like Prabhupada mentioned that the human beings, with their teeth, they can eat meat. They shouldn't, but they can. They have the choice. They can eat Krishna prasadam and be spiritually elevated, or they can eat food in the mode of goodness, the mode of passion, or the mode of ignorance. Adho gachanti tamasa. Choice is open to them. That greater freedom is given because human life is meant for greater responsibility. Just as Prabhupada mentioned, you go to, say, the DM's bungalow, and he has greater facility. He has some property, of course it's not his, but it's provided for his use, car, assistance, and quite a good setup. But it's not for sense gratification. He's not expected to take his car and go out for every kind of nonsense, race his car in some event, competition. He's not expected to take the budget and spend it for any kind of rubbish. All this facility is given because he's expected to be a responsible government officer, and these facilities are to assist him in carrying out his prescribed duties. He can misuse them. He has the intelligence, he can figure out some way that off the books he can do this or that. But that's not his duty. He has to think that this facility is provided by the government, I have to use it for the government service. That's his duty. So the human beings have greater freedom. It's meant for using in Krishna's service. The greater facility of human life, greater comfort, greater intelligence, is meant for Krishna's service. The original mistake of the living being is to turn away from Krishna's service and think, no, let me enjoy. Why should Krishna be the object of my service? Why should I not be the center? As soon as the living entity looks away from Krishna and wants to enjoy for himself, at once he's in Maya or under illusion. He's not the enjoyer. Constitutionally, he's not the enjoyer. He's not put together in such a way that he can actually be the enjoyer. He's meant, just as a woman is not put together in such a way as to be Purusha. So the living entity is also not Purusha. Govindamadi Purusham. Krishna is the Purusha. And the living entity is Prakriti. He's the energy of Krishna. As the hand is meant to serve the whole body, putting food in the stomach, the living being is meant to serve Krishna. When he does that, the living being is happy. Praharshiyashyami sanati jivita. And when he does anything else, he'll be frustrated. And that's the history of the material world. Everyone is frustrated. Everyone is trying to enjoy, but mrityu samsara vartmani, they're on the path of repeated birth and death, disease and old age, and no one is actually enjoying. They put on you see the celebrity magazines, Stardust or whatever, and they're putting on a happy face, and but it's just, even if they're supposedly, if they think, I'm so happy, that happiness is for 5 minutes, or 5 days, or 5 years, but finally it will be finished. And then the other side comes, suffering. And we try to eat and enjoy, and we eat more, and we're so happy we ate so much. And then the other side comes, suffering. Because we can't do that. Now, up to some point, because we have some tendency to enjoy, some facility is given, there's nice food is there, but some direction is given in Shastra, just like Ayurvedic Shastra. You can take this much. What is that? First of all, from Bhagavad Gita, not unmentionable things. But if suppose you can eat 2 kilos, then you should eat 1 kilo. Then Ayurveda says, then 500 grams water, and the rest is empty space, because the air has to digest, has to work with the fire to digest the food. Pachannam anyam chaturvidam. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashritam. I become the fire of digestion, and I work along with the air. Fire needs air. If you cut off the air, you cut off the fire. So you need to, if you stuff your system 100% full, now you've got lots of fuel and no fire. And the result is disease. And therefore Ayurveda says, no, if you want to be happy by eating, eat this much only, 50%, 25% water, and leave room for the air to work. And then you can enjoy that much food, not going beyond the limits, and it will work. It's not the ultimate goal of life that today I digested my food. But it's also one of the bodily necessities, and in the satisfaction of those bodily necessities, some enjoyment is naturally there for the senses. So do it this way, and as far as enjoyment is there, you'll have that, and you won't get sick, and you can carry on with your work, which is the real purpose. I have to eat so that I can live, so that I can perform my prescribed duties, which especially means, all right, my material duties and my duties for spiritual advancement. Therefore also it's said, Yagya Shishtamrita Santa Muchyante Sarvakilbishai Bunjate Te Togam Papa Ye Pachantyatmakarma. The saintly persons or devotees take the remnants of sacrifice as food. They take the food which has first been offered to the Lord, and in that way, muchyante sarvakilbishai, they're liberated from the reactions of all sins. Because that prasadam is purifying. So by Krishna's mercy, they're freed from all sins simply by accepting Krishna prasadam. And bhunjate te tugham papa ye pachanti atmakarna. And those who cook for themselves and eat for themselves and enjoy, or who pay someone to cook for them and eat and enjoy. Bhunjate, what do they enjoy? Agham papam, the nasty results of sinful activities. Because they're eating on their own account also. Let me enjoy. So by eating that food, they become more deeply implicated in material existence. Or by eating Krishna prasadam, they become purified and eligible to go back to Godhead. Again, there's choice. Anyone in the world can do either one. They can eat anything and everything, or they can eat Krishna prasadam. They don't have to be next to a temple. They don't have to wait for the food for life truck to come. Krishna says, Patram pushpam palam toyam yome bhaktya priyachati tadaham bhaktyuparatam ashnami prayatatmana. If someone offers me a little leaf or fruit or flower or water, bhaktya, with devotion and love, ashnami, I accept that, I eat that. It becomes prasadam. And he doesn't eat it and take it away, he eats it and leaves yagya shishta, the Krishna prasadam, and anyone can take that. So the choice is there. I can follow Krishna's direction and be elevated by taking Krishna prasadam, or I can follow my own idea and eat nice tasty food prepared by my wife or myself or my restaurant cook, and I can enjoy and suffer. So therefore one is advised to follow Krishna's direction and be happy in this life and the next. Not to follow one's own whimsy. Yashastra vidamutsrijya vartate kamakarataha nasa siddhim avapnoti na sukham na paramgatim. If we follow the Shastra, then we'll know what to do, what not to do. Otherwise, if we set aside the directions of the Shastra and act kamakarata as we like, nasa siddhim, we won't attain perfection. Nasa siddhim avapnoti, nasukam, we won't even be happy. And na paramgatim, what to speak of reaching the supreme destination. Tasmat Shastra Pramanamte. Therefore we should follow Shastra. So here also, Dharmaviruddha bhuteshu kamosmi. The Lord says, I am kama, which is not against the regulative principles. Not against the regulative principles. Then someone will say, well, what are the regulative principles? That also we understand from Shastra. That first of all, in human life, sex life means within marriage. Sex life outside of marriage is at once illegitimate. At once illegitimate. It's the business of the hogs and dogs and monkeys. Nayam deha deha bhajamnu loke. Lord Rishabdev instructed his sons, this human life is not meant for that same happiness that the vidbhujam, the stool-eating hogs, enjoy. They also enjoy sex without discrimination. Sister, mother. Here, Pradyumna is saying, wait a second, you're my mother. What is this? The hog never says, wait a second, you're my mother. No, doesn't matter. But in human life, no. Only between husband and wife. Not boyfriend, girlfriend, boyfriend and boyfriend. Husband and wife. Prabhupada required that when he came to America. Everything was American standard. American standard means the boy and girl are attracted. Enough. Let the fun begin. But Srila Prabhupada, and this is also the hippie culture was going on, which made so-called normal American culture look conservative. So there it was, free love. And Prabhupada was very straight. I do not allow my students to live as boyfriend and girlfriend. I do not allow my students to live as boyfriend and girlfriend. Immediately. I get them married. What's the difference? It's the same business. But when there's marriage, then it comes within the legitimate sphere. In marriage there's responsibility. In marriage there's commitment. Otherwise, boyfriend and girlfriend, it's like the encounters of the monkeys. You go at it and then go at it with the next one. So Prabhupada didn't allow this monkey business. Strictly. No illicit sex. That meant they must be married. Then Prabhupada further instructed that within marriage also it's not unrestricted. Within marriage also, not unrestricted. Just like you get a license. You can't drive a car without a license. That's totally illegal. But it's not that now I have a license, I can drive any which way. Right side, left side, any speed. If the sign says one way, I can drive both ways. I have a license. When they give you the license, first you have to take a course. How do you drive? What does this sign mean? What does that sign mean? What do you do when you see this? There's instruction. These are the basic traffic laws. Then they give you the license when you pass the test. And then you have to follow the laws. If you speed, the police come. If you cross against the light, again, the police come. Cameras are there, so many things. Because the license is not a license for driving unrestrictedly. It's a license for driving within legal restrictions. What is that restriction? Prabhupada said sex life within marriage means for having Krishna conscious children. That's dharma virud. That's dharma virud. No contraceptive methods. No sex for recreation. Procreation, not recreation. Therefore, Prabhupada said that meant once in a month, when the woman is in her time of greatest fertility. Then, for the purpose of having a Krishna conscious child, then sex is allowed. That's dharma virud. That's dharma virud. Prabhupada said if the result is wanted, then the process is good. We want Krishna conscious children. Brahma, at the beginning of the creation, his whole business, how do we populate the universe? How do we get things going? So this is wanted. Prabhupada said we welcome Krishna conscious children. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, when he saw that the wife of Shivananda Sen was pregnant, he said, give the child this auspicious name. He didn't say, oh man, you got your wife pregnant, what is this? No, he's very good. Because it's the duty of the householder. So, and the child became a great devotee. So this is wanted. Otherwise, Pita nasasyat, janani nasasyat, namochiyedya samupetya mrityum. Why are we having children? Why are we getting married? Why are we becoming spiritual masters? Why are we becoming teachers? Why are we doing any of these things? Namochiyedya samupetya mrityum. One should do these things if one can free the person under one's charge from the clutches of birth and death. That's the purpose. Otherwise, don't do it. Gurur nasasyat, janani nasyasat, pita nasasyat, namochiye. Don't become a father, what? Just for what purpose? Oh, we have a son. The purpose should be that this person who's coming in my family, under my charge, should be freed, should become a Krishna conscious devotee and be freed from the clutches of birth and death. That's the purpose. Simply guru. Guru doesn't mean, hey, I could get dakshina, I can get, everyone will offer me pranams. It means responsibility. I have to free this person from birth and death. To become husband means taking responsibility. My wife has to become free from the clutches of birth and death. It's all for advancement in Krishna consciousness. Naturally, I'll also like it. In householder life, there's association of husband and wife, and that's congenial. But that's not the purpose. That will also be there. It's included in the package. Just as the DM, it's included in the package. Bungalow, car, assistance, everything. Budget. But his purpose is not there. His purpose is not to enjoy the service of the assistants, to do anything with the car, spend the budget. His purpose is to serve the government. That's his responsibility. Then he lives in a nice bungalow, he has the use of a car, all these things. One becomes a father, one becomes a mother, one becomes husband, one becomes guru, any of these. But his duty is how the person under his charge becomes free from material existence. That's the purpose. Within that purpose, dharma viruddha bhuteshu, kamosmi. Krishna says, I'm also kama, which is dharma avirud, within or not beyond the regulative principles. not beyond the principles of religion, dharma virud. For the brahmacharis, that means no sex. Sannyasis, no sex. Vanaprasthas, no sex. And in grihastha life, sex is approved within the regulative boundaries. Artificial sex is also dharma virud. One friend was telling me the other day that some people are under the impression that artificial sex, that means with oneself, is not against the regulative principles. Completely wrong. That's also illicit sex. Completely. Sex life within marriage for having Krishna conscious children is dharma virud, and that's a representation of Krishna. So Rati says, there's nothing wrong here, although I had the attitude of a mother taking care of you, but actually I'm your wife. So naturally this attraction is there between husband and wife. I'm still here, I haven't gone off with some other guy. So this is dharmic, it's legitimate, it's approved, it's good. That responsibility, therefore there's no divorce in Vedic culture. Because it's responsibility. Just as we don't accept a guru and then later decide, well actually I don't like this guru so much, and that guru over there, he's really cool. And this one tells me, you can't do this, you have to do that. He engages me in this thing, but I wanted to be engaged in that thing, so let me go shopping. You can't do that. Chakudan diloje janme janme prabhushe. If I accept a guru, that's for life. And life after life. So marriage also doesn't mean, let me try it, let's see how it works. Or let's accept it as a lifetime commitment. And then later, oh, I didn't realize, and oh, if I'd only known, and then we break it. That's also dharma virud, against the principles of religion. And when I get married, something I'll like, something I'll not like. It's not an eternal picnic. There's some enjoyment, there's some suffering. There must be. If I'm simply looking for enjoyment in married life, I'm a fool. There is no marriage that's only enjoyment. Marriage means enjoyment and suffering. Even you're married, you have to get a job. What's a job? Suffering. People don't go looking for jobs for joy. They go looking for jobs because they have to, because they need money, because the wife needs a place to stay, she needs proper food, proper clothes, now there's children, their education, all these things. So then I have to work. Work means suffering. I have to accept that because I want a certain quota of enjoyment, so I have to accept my quota of responsibility or suffering. And not that I can come back later and say, oh, it's not worth it. Or it would be worth it if the girl were different. Or if the man were different. No. All right, this is what I got. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. That's all. My actual enjoyment is not going to come from any material arrangement. I'll not be satisfied with anything in this material world. Those stardust people who are married to the most gorgeous people, they're not fully satisfied. No one is. Because on the material platform there is no satisfaction. When one becomes Krishna conscious, yam labdva chapram labham nanyate nadikam tata yasmin stato niduk, then he feels, now I've got happiness that I wouldn't trade for anything else. And that happiness is eternal, brahmasokyam tvanantam. So this is human life, to look toward that happiness. And whatever happiness in material existence there may be, we accept within regulative boundaries. And whatever suffering is there, we also have to accept it. But when our aim is toward Krishna, when our activities are dedicated to Krishna, even kama is dedicated to Krishna, then we advance in spiritual Krishna consciousness. Then sukham, some happiness, siddhim, perfection is available, and paramgatim. One can be happy in this life, and at the end of life, go back home, back to Godhead. Hare Krishna. Any questions? There's a microphone, and wherever the microphone is, that's where the question is.
Maharaj, in this pastime, Rati knows that Kamdev was going to come after some time, and she is going to unite it after some due course of time. But right now, sometimes it may be happen that woman's husband might be died, and she become a widow. In that situations, how she can rehabilitate herself? And there are so many organizations in India right now. They are promoting widowed remarriage. Are they according to scriptures?
They're told, is widow remarriage according to scriptures? A young woman may lose her husband. How will she be happy? It's totally against scripture. In scripture, Prabhupada said this divorce law was introduced later in India, but according to Manu Samhita, according to Hindu Shastra, there's no question of divorce. When Pandu died, neither Kunti nor Madri said, well, that was that. Let me find a second husband. Madri died along with Pandu, and Kunti dedicated her service to her sons. She didn't think, now I need to find another husband. Nor was she independent. Even when she wasn't with the sons, then she's staying with Vidur. Some responsible man has to be there. And what happiness anyway? You're married, your happiness is not going to be unlimited anyway. I got my quota. By destiny, some quota of happiness was there. All right. Now let me dedicate myself to spiritual activities. Even in America, when I was growing up, divorce was not seen. I knew exactly one man who'd been divorced. Of all the people, that I knew, all the men that I knew as a young boy, I knew one man that was divorced, one cousin. And that was also looked at as not very good. Now it's common. But according to It used to be, the woman's husband died, she would spend her time in charitable activities, she would do hospital seva, she would do some community service, she would work within the family circle. There was no scope for divorce. And according to Vedic Shastra, there's no scope for divorce, no scope for remarriage. You take what you get. This is what destiny gave you. Within legitimate boundaries, don't take more. You won't enjoy. You may think you'll enjoy, you may think now, this is even better than the first one. Nasa siddham avapnoti nasukam. All right, just like Shachi Devi, not Shachi Devi, Vishnu Priya. She lost her husband, he took sannyas. Then, where's a new husband? No. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. She was doing bhajan only. And then, Brahmasokyam Chanantam, by doing Krishna bhajan, then unlimited happiness. I got some quota of limited happiness. Now that's been taken away, let me go for unlimited happiness. That's the principle. Yes? PJ. Hare Krishna, you have to flick the switch, wherever it is. I think on the bottom that switch is there.
Humble obeisances to your lotus feet. Humble obeisances to your lotus feet. I would like to ask that in case of Arjuna, when he was asked to get married to Uttara, which was like her daughter, age of her daughter, being Kshatriya, he was always ready to protect women, but committed to Krishna Bhakti and his previous wife, Dampatya Dharma. So Arjuna, he denied, and he
not for those reasons. When Uttara was offered to Arjuna, Arjuna didn't accept her, but not because he was already married. After all, he later married Subhadra.
Loyalty is also one of the factors.
But the principle was, he'd been acting as her guru. Uttara was his student. He was the guru. The guru can't marry the disciple. The disciple means like she's like his daughter. I can't marry my daughter. So Arjuna refused. That this girl, very qualified, very grateful, such a valuable gift, but I can't accept. She's like my daughter. But I have my son, Abhimanyu, he can accept.
Here also he faced some genetical, which we say that, which is not between man and women, one stage. That was also because of his commitment to Krishna Bhakti and I remind. So we are also supposed to stick to Krishna, whichever challenges come.
Yes.
Like Arjuna.
The Urvashi in the heavenly planets approached him, said, "You're so handsome, you're so wonderful, I'm attracted to you." He said, "You're my mother. My father is Indra, you're his consort, I can't." Yes. Dharma. It wasn't just like, wow. It wasn't just what the senses dictate. Naturally, the senses will dictate that here's a beautiful woman and she wants me and she's like one of the top attractions in the heavenly planets. But he considered, is this according to Dharma? No, it's not. Uttara was a beautiful young girl. She was offered, the king's daughter. Is this according to Dharma? No, it's not. All right, then, Abhimanyu.
Thank you very much.
Hmm?
In the spiritual world, it is Krishna Prem, that is love. And in this material world, that is Bhautik Jagat, that is lust, which is manifested everywhere in all the living entities. So yesterday I was reading third chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Karma Yoga, in which Krishna says that lust manifests in intellect, mind and senses of the living entity. So how to overcome this lust? Is it bhakti only, or some other way? Like we can say, like bhakti yoga is the only best way to attain Krishna Prem in this world.
Two questions. Is bhakti yoga the only way to attain prem in this world? Yes. And to overcome lust, is bhakti the only thing, or is there something else? Finally, bhakti is the thing. Control is also there. The yogis may not be Krishna bhaktas, but they control the senses. Yoga indriya samyama. Yoga means to control the senses. So the yogis control the senses. Otherwise they can't be yogis. In that third chapter, Tasmat Tvam Indriyanyado Niyamya Bharatarshava. My dear Arjun, from the very beginning, control the force of the senses. Papmanam prajahihenam jnana vijnana nashanam. Because lust will destroy your knowledge, your self-realization, everything. So you have to control it ado, from the very beginning. If you try and control it later, it's out of hand. Like fire, once it's raging, what will you do? But in the very beginning, you see a fire is starting, a match has fallen on something, you immediately extinguish it. Debt. You see a debt, you attend to it, then finished. Otherwise, interest, compound interest, borrowing, moving from this credit card to that credit card. Then it becomes out of hand and you have to declare bankruptcy. Disease, you have some small thing, you see to it and it's done. You let it, you neglect it and it becomes chronic, it becomes untreatable. So lust also, Krishna says, ado, from the very beginning, control. The yogis practice control of their desires, control of the senses. But it's difficult for them. It's difficult for them. Therefore we see so many times the yogis fail. Even after meditating for hundreds of years under the water, Shobhari Muni became agitated by seeing some fishy business. Yat pada pankaja palasha vilasha bhaktya. Therefore, the Kumaras say that the yogis have a hard time controlling these waves of desires. But one who becomes attracted to the lotus petal feet of Krishna, mameva ye prapadyante maya me tam taranti, he can cross beyond this illusion. So finally, bhaktya, by devotional service. Is that okay? Something else. Hare Krishna. Okay, wherever the microphone is. Why do men have polygamy and women have one husband? Very unfair, it seems. Prabhupada said, he gave one reason, that the female population is always larger. So if you have polygamy, it's an advantage for the women. more women get husbands. If one woman takes 3, first this one, then this one, then this one, then it's compounding the problem. Already there's more women than men, and now one woman is taking 2 or 3 or 4. Not good. Not good. Okay. Where's the microphone?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you very much for a wonderful class. Maharaj, usually we talk about sense control on an individual basis, considering it to be the individual's responsibility. And of course, we also get help from our guides, a particular temple or the setup, which also helps. But then we see that there could be a larger role of the government itself, or the whole setup, or the system, which takes up the consciousness of the people in general to a different level, where practicing celibacy is more practical. Because once the consciousness goes down, same thing looks impractical. But once the consciousness is up, it becomes very practical. So how the government, through its different policies, can really uplift the consciousness of the people in general, so that it looks not just an impractical thing confined between a few people, but it is practicable.
Yeah, government should spread chanting of the holy name of Krishna. Yes. That will uplift. Otherwise, they can pass this policy, that policy. They may sometimes be helpful. In former Soviet Union, there was no pornography. Then, when democracy came in, it had its advantages and disadvantages, but one disadvantage, immediately pornography flourishing. So, I don't advocate a return to former Soviet policies, but something good was there. But the real thing, just trying to stamp this out, stamp that out, of course the government should regulate. But the main thing is the chanting of Hare Krishna. That will purify the whole atmosphere. Okay, here's one written. How to practice Krishna consciousness steadily with determination where there is no association of devotees. It's hard to find time to chant and read books because, I guess that is, of family responsibility. And when I have become hard-hearted, it's hard to be humble, tolerate, give respects. It's hard. I really wish to come back to Krishna. Don't go where there's no association of devotees. Chanakya Pandit says one should not live where there's no river, no doctor, no temple, and no friend. It's an unfit place for living. So, where there's no temple or no devotees, that means no friend, don't go there. You have choice. It's not that you have to live in the Andamans or something. People choose a home, they like this neighborhood, they like that neighborhood, this is affordable, that's affordable, we like the schools here, it's close to this. So make that the criteria. I want to live where there are devotees. Thakur Bhaktivedanta says, I don't want to live even as Brahma and be a non-devotee. I'd rather be a dog or a germ in the house of a Vaishnava. So we should look for that devotee association. Ideally, live near a temple, or live near other devotees, or go out and make some people devotees so that you'll have their association. One of the few redeeming features of the internet is that you can get devotee association on it. Somehow or other, sadhu sangha, sarva shastra kar. All the shastras are saying, associate with devotees. And then Krishna consciousness becomes practical, all those other things start to work. We find time. Time suddenly manifests itself where there was no time. You approach anyone, Krishna conscious, no time. But when they decide they want to be Krishna conscious, then time appears. Magic. Another question? There's only 2 minutes according to the schedule. Yes, Maji in the back.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. For valuable class. Maharaj, in some cases in Vedic culture, girls were married to a person which they don't like. I mean, sometimes forcibly, against their will. As like Gandhari, she was married to a man who was blind, and she also accepted that blindness. So how to develop that chastity to the man, even if you don't like?
Of course, Gandhari, she wasn't forced. It was her own choice. The offer was made that this Dhritarashtra's looking for a suitable wife. We think your daughter is suitable. Her brother was opposed, Shakuni, but she accepted. No, I'll accept. Then when I'm old, he won't think, oh, look how old my wife is. So she took it. No, it's good, I'll accept it. The Vedic system, we were talking, the question was raised, is this just an individual matter? Shouldn't others have responsibility? What about the government? Of course, the government is often the worst authority to get involved in anything. They have a mess-up potency, which is unbelievable. But these things are the family responsibility. And especially to get the daughter married is the father's responsibility. And so much care is to be taken. When Kardama Muni's daughter came of age, then not Kardama Muni, Manu. Then how to get the daughter married. Then consultation was taken. But what does the daughter think? It wasn't ruled out, well, we don't care what you think, you're just the girl who's getting married. That was also taken into account. I like that sage. Then the parents considered. And they thought, yes, this Kardama Muni is a very suitable husband for our daughter. But the family would take so much responsibility to see that the girl is qualified, to see that the boy is qualified, to see that the match is suitable. So much trouble. It's an investment, after all. You invest so many years in bringing up this child, and you have a responsibility how this child's life is going to be happy and how they'll become Krishna conscious. So now I'm handing over, this is called succession planning. Now I'm handing over the duty to a suitable boy. He has to be suitable. The parents, out of love for the daughter, out of love for the son. They want to see that their life will be happy. If they're Krishna conscious, how in this life they'll be happy and next life go back to Godhead. So much trouble they would take. The first thing is the candidate a devotee? Better for the demons to marry the demons and the devotees to marry the devotees. Then they'll be happy. Yeah. So that's the first consideration. Then so many other considerations. Is he responsible? Can he earn sufficient money? Is he qualified in this way? Is he qualified in that way? Are his habits good? Is his training nice? So many things. How this boy will be qualified. What is the family background? And is it compatible? He may be a very good boy for someone else, but not for this girl. So are they a good match? Do their qualities complement one another? Then the astrologer is consulted. The Kundali is considered. And if it's not a match, it has to come at least within a certain range, then we say, okay. Otherwise, nope, off. But I love him and he's qualified and he's this, that, nope. Because the astrologer is supposed to know when he's qualified. Now so many nonsense astrologers, but a qualified astrologer. He looks and he sees and he says, no, this is very good. Or no, this won't work. Then it won't work, then it's called off. Okay, we looked at that one, scratch it off. The astrologer was taken into account, family background is taken into account, earning power is taken into account, character is taken into account, whether the girl likes him is taken into account. All of these things are taken into account so that it becomes a family investment, actually. And not just, now it's just, boy and girl meet and Bollywood scene, people do some sort of dance and then it's all happiness, all love. And then later it turns to poison. It's nectar in the beginning, poison at the end. But in the Vedic culture, so much is invested from the side of both families. While the girl's father is checking everything out, the boy's father is checking everything out. The aunt is saying something, the cousin is saying, everybody's got an investment there. They're all concerned to see that they'll have a nice life. Then Vivaha Yagya, a yagya is performed. What is the purpose of that? Samskar. Samskar means to create an impression. Otherwise, you can just sign a paper, okay, okay. But that's why this samskar, to create this strong impression. We are committed. We are committed. We promise before our family members, before the priest, before the fire, before the Lord, we promise to perform, to stick to our duties here. And so many things are done, so many rituals. You are now tied. Because that's marriage. It's not, we met last night and we fell in love. That's a recipe for disaster. And we see it now in India. Previously these things were going on, now so much love and love and love and love, and the divorce rate matches America. But previously, so much commitment was there. Yudhisthira Prabhu is sitting here, his wife told me that when they were married, her mother said that now we're seeing you to this new home, and you'll leave when they carry you out flat. When you die, then you leave. That's marriage. Not when my heart changes, when I realize what kind of husband I married. That's dharma. And there are so many histories in Mahabharata, Nala Damayanti, so many things. How they would stick under whatever circumstances, because that's duty. That's duty. Not I do what I feel like. I do what is going to make me happy. I perform my duty. And by performing my duty, the maximum happiness will be there in this life and the next life. And Krishna consciousness means to perform those duties for the pleasure of Krishna. When Krishna is satisfied, I'll be satisfied. Hare Krishna.